Just kidding. Hey, I'm live. It's Friday, November 3rd, 2023. And for those of you, thank you for offering my condolences. It is the third trip around, 28 and a half for me. I am 57 years old today, so I have to change all of those videos when I talk about, hey, I'm 56 years old. But today is a topic near and dear to my heart. And I'm just going to do a quick gut check here because since I'm solo, I want to make sure that I'm actually fully up and running. It looks like the video is going. For those of you who are joining me in the comments, let me know if there's any problem with my mic or otherwise, because sometimes I get distracted. Today, the topic, it's so near and dear to my heart because it's a relationship, it's a function, it's a feature that has really changed my own business life as well as many others, and I think changed the WordPress ecosystem in general. It's the 10 things that you can do with WP Fusion, the infamous, famous, amazing Jack Arturo creation, WP Fusion, and your favorite CRM. And that includes any of 58, 59 SaaS CRMs. But the one that's really near and dear to my heart that I'm going to use today as a big reference is the plugin CRM from Shah Jahan Jewel and his team at Fluent CRM, fluentcrm.com, or WP Manage Ninja. And the reason it's so near and dear is because these two plugins are foundational to everything else that I do with WP Launchify in a consultative way, as well as with the ready-to-use platform that makes WordPress into a service called WP Launch Kit. So I'm going to be referring to those things a little bit in specific terms, but I'm also going to be doing a slideshow today that's going to talk about the bigger concepts. So let me just clean up my other screen here real quick, say hello to everybody who's pouring in live. I do stream this in a couple locations, so sometimes they show up on the number count, but a lot of the times everybody's just watching this after the fact because, again, it's Friday. I'm going to Costco after this. No, but in all seriousness, my friends and family are going to help me share my birthday later. So today is a great start today. Good morning, Stuart. I'm going to start out, by the way, when you guys post the questions, I'm going to look over and I'm going to weave these in. But just to start out, Stuart's asking, I've been using WP Fusion for years with ActiveCampaign, but looking to move to Fluent. Interested to hear on what you have to say. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love that because that's the point. If you think of WordPress as a service in a hypothetical world that Uncle Spence is delivering, you wouldn't have the same problems that you have today, which are you go to a flea market on a Sunday and you have to wander around 70,000 different booths. And because Fluent CRM's entire philosophy, their team, my relationship with Shah Jahan, have made it possible for us to collaborate. Jack, myself, Shah Jahan, the other authors of some of these plugins, as if we're putting together features of a platform. The integrations, the fluidity with which we communicate fixes what's wrong with WordPress that's otherwise not awesome. That is the random, everybody for themselves kind of mentality of a flea market. Stuart, thank you for that question. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's go on to the show. And for that, I'm going to actually put myself into, I think this is we'll try this one. This is good enough. If you guys have trouble seeing the slides, let me know because I'll make them bigger. But today's slides are actually brought to you by StreamYard. I am Spencer Foreman. If you've not met me before, it's nice to meet you today. I'm an entrepreneur, a professional marketer. I've spent more than actually 18 years. Now it's 19 years, ding the bell, helping freelancers from around the world learn how to better present themselves and their services to find their perfect customers. And one of the things I want to emphasize, because I am officially really deeply into Gen X mindset, is you've never before seen a more relevant time to use personal relationships for successfully selling your online stuff, because there's an infinite amount of free, incredible technology. And that's the problem. The people who want to pay the money, the big money, the good money, the generous money, are the same people of my generation and above who are like, can you just help me spoon feed this to me? Because it's way more than I want to keep up with or capable of keeping up with. So the world shaking the snow globe of saying, hey, all this new stuff is out there, is what makes the opportunity even more amazing for those of us who want to be implementers or who just take basically the human aspect of a business relationship and make that what you're selling. And that's what I do myself, as we'll talk about. Okay, so right into it. Number one of the top 10 things you can do with WP Fusion: connect your CRM to WordPress. Now, this is something that I start with because it's so foundational, but at the same time, if you don't understand it, everything else sort of seems silly. I'm going to stick with this format. Imagine the Earth as planet WordPress. Every amazing thing that you want to do and the interaction of the human beings happens on the planet. However, in order to better manage, track, and adjust that journey so as to give everybody on planet Earth a better life the way you want them to, wouldn't it be cool if you have this, sort of metaphorical moon orbiting planet Earth that is your CRM, your customer relationship management tool? Now, I can list them out, but you've got a nice graphic there. I mean, everything from ActiveCampaign to Fluent CRM, Salesforce, HubSpot, go down the list, Entreport. There are 58, 59 or more, there could be 60 by the time I'm saying this, that could connect as the moon. But the basic premise is, with WP Fusion as the connection tool, you have the two-way transceiver between Planet WordPress and all the people doing their thing on it and what the CRM can do, which is to take the information about the users or the person's position, their journey, what they've done, they've seen, they've clicked, they've tracked, purchased, and it can change the experience for them to make it more personalized, to make it where it's guiding them, much like, again, a satellite around the planet Earth can predict storms and advise people in advance of what to do. So sometimes that CRM is actually in the stack. To Stuart's question, Fluent CRM is in the stack. You own it, you control it. There's huge leverage and advantage to that, because instead of paying an outside service or having to communicate back and forth to space, it's happening inside the same place where all the other stuff. Good morning, Zero to Webmaster. Dr. Carrie Krieger is here in the house. Thank you. So connecting the WordPress ecosystem to your favorite CRM is something that I do on a regular basis. As we'll talk about in a minute, my business and relationships is to have free calls with anybody for any reason, at least somewhat related to WordPress. I get a ton of my calls about the CRMs, Salesforce, HubSpot. Lately, go high level. But what everybody realizes after they talk to me is there's a lot of details that are left out by the CRM platforms about what the connectivity capability is on their own. That's where you need a plugin like WP Fusion to make the true user to contact synchronicity that really enables all the other things we're going to talk about to happen. So think of it like a two-way transceiver. Think of it like a giant USB cable to space, and we'll all be good. Number two, I should probably have a drum roll. I don't think I have that here. I have sound effects. I have background music. Next time I'll have it. Actually, by the way, because I love talking tech, I did buy one of these cool little Stream Deck boxes, and I fully intended to use it either here or in my flight simulator. One of these days, I'll hook it up to sound effects. Number two, creating a membership site. Now, this one is the most important to me because it really also forms the foundation of what most people are really doing, let's be honest, with a WordPress site. You can manage and control access to private membership via a paid method like WooCommerce with one-time purchase or subscription purchase. You don't need a membership plugin. Now, in another slide, I'm going to talk about you can also use this same setup for free content. But the point is that when you look at the stack of what you can do with WP Fusion allows you to essentially take the users and track what they see and click and buy and do and subscribe to and give them tags. And that's synchronized to your CRM. In doing so, these very same tags act like when you're at a hotel. You got the buffet card and the pool pass and the gym pass and the key to get you in your room. They act as content control. So if you think about it, whether it be for free and registering through a Fluent form or a WooCommerce free product, whether it be paid one time through a WooCommerce purchase, whether it be a subscription through WooCommerce subscriptions. The onboarding, the money, the transactions all happen through WooCommerce, but the user synchronization and the access they get is controlled via the CRM with WP Fusion. There's nothing left for a membership plugin to do except get in your way. And we don't want that. We want to remove pieces, Marie Kondo style. It does not bring me joy, rather than continue to have them just because they were there in the past. And that's something that's a very powerful lesson. We're going to talk also in a second, and I'll come back and run through some of these things. I just want to let you guys know, I'll run through some of these things by sharing the screen of the Launch Kit solution to show you some of these in action. But I'd rather go through the slides first to get the concepts. So conditional content display, number 3. That is, you can display or hide content, as I just alluded to, based upon the tags, show and tell time, that somebody gets. And you can do so via a number of different containers. The biggest container is the search. You literally can filter out the entire search query of any post type and not show it. Navigation menus. You can use short codes. You can use Gutenberg blocks. You can use even some of the legacy page builders like Elementor and Divi and Beaver Builder. You can use those to conditionally display based upon tags. So in the very same way I was suggesting that you do not need a membership plugin, one of the fundamental reasons for that is because you already have a method using your CRM and your CRM connection with WP Fusion to manage what somebody has access to. Spence has the buffet tag. He has the gym tag. He can get into the pool tag. He has the unlimited executive suite in the presidential tower tag. So because he's got those tags that you can take away if he's naughty or doesn't pay, these tags are what open up control via the containers, the whole site search, the navigation, a page or post, individual short code, individual block, individual page builder widget. Super powerful, super easy, gets rid of all the extra pieces. And again, aligns with the mindset that I teach you and provide you ready to go in a WordPress platform called the Launch Kit solution. Drum roll, please. Number 4, e-commerce integration. Spence, are there other e-commerce things you can use with WordPress? Sure there are. There are also lots of other phones you can buy, I suppose, besides an iPhone. But there's like a trillion of these and not as many of the other ones. So WooCommerce delivers so many features and so many foundational connections to the ecosystem inside and outside of WordPress, you would be on a fool's journey not to use that as your e-commerce transactional engine. I'm not even going to talk about the other ones. Yes, there's easy digital downloads. Yes, there's another product by my pal Adam that is selling things outside of WooCommerce. I'm not going to talk about them because they're not relevant. Even if you did do something with those, you should still consider having WooCommerce for things like the registration capacity, the login capacity, the My Account Unified Dashboard that I'll show you in a minute. The fact that it connects with tens of thousands of things and has such an enormous amount of energy and people constantly updating and improving it. It means it's foundational to everything you do. So by being able to use WP Fusion to sync WooCommerce orders, even things that are for free, even just registering a person through the WooCommerce transactional, mechanism, syncing those users to your CRM to manage their subscriptions, personalize their journey through the e-commerce transactional experience based upon the things that they have done or clicked or bought in the past, memorialized by tag. So let's go back to what I just talked about. Spence saw this offer, didn't buy it. He did buy this offer. Oh, he's got this subscription and he's a lifetime member of this thing. These are all memorialized as tags in my CRM. Let's say it's Fluent CRM. WP Fusion provides the universal connectivity for what this means to the user. Maybe it means that he's not going to be having to see those sales offers because he's already a lifetime member. Maybe he's already got this and he said no to that. And well, he definitely didn't want this thing. All that data can be used dynamically to change what the user sees and does. And it can be used in the CRM, which is really important outside of WordPress for things like which emails will somebody get, which webinars will somebody be invited to, which things inside of a specific email through the CRM could somebody get based upon their past experience. And it allows that, remember back to the moon and earth, it allows the constant monitoring of the user's journey and instantly adapting it so that they have an incredibly awesome experience. Like, you know who they are, and you have this incredible experience, unlike, let's say, Google Analytics, of knowing that's actually Dr. Kerry Krieger right there on my website. And look at the things he's done versus, oh, anonymous visitor 123 has come to my site. And maybe that's actually my competitor trying to, play games with me. Number 5, baby drum roll, learning management. So one of the biggest things that people pay for in a subscription or one time to get into your membership site is for courses, lessons, quizzes, topics, groups, webinars, all those things that could be really well organized using any of the popular learning management systems. So LearnDash and Lifter LMS are the ones that I discuss most often. And those are the ones that really deeply integrate with WP Fusion and your favorite CRM. So for example, you can drip feed access to lessons based upon what somebody's progress is, because each lesson could give or take away a tag. The automation is, has Spence or whomever gotten this tag yet from lesson 3? Yes or no? If he has, wait a day and then send him lesson 4. And when he opens it, give him tag for lesson 4. So by being able to track the specific things somebody sees or clicks or does or receives, we can now make the learning experience drip oriented and very personal, because we can even get down to the granular level. This one's amazing. Being able to track whether Spence got a 70 or an 80 or whatever percentage I need on my quiz in order to get the course completion and the certification. The certification itself is important. Many of my clients use the LaunchKit solution along with these plugins for businesses that are essentially paying for their employees or their management team to get certified in continuing education. I don't talk about it, but I have a law degree. I still have a law license since 1991 or 2. And I have to every year complete online legal education as part of the law to keep my license. Well, whether you're a forklift operator, you do international trade, you're in medicine, whatever the deal is, you can likely get the training you need through a system that may be using some setup like this to manage whether you have seen the right things, completed the right things, and gotten a proper score. And doing so with the CRM and WP Fusion makes that a piece of cake, as I'll show you in a second, out of the box. Number 6, excuse me. Slide 7, event management. Now, this one is really personal to my heart because events are different than bookings. And I didn't talk about bookings, but I'm going to just mention these together. So the difference between an event and a booking is an event is a one-to-many or a many-to-many. It's a concert, it's a webinar, it's a thing where people often may be buying tickets or get checked in for attending. A booking is typically done like you're booking a one-to-one call. Maybe there's a few people on the call, but it's an intimate experience. And so therefore, there's usually somebody's picking from a variety of dates and times for which we have these great integrations. We have the same stack allows somebody to, for free or paid, be able to find a time in my calendar. Maybe it's through Calendly, maybe it's through Fluent Bookings, maybe it's through another integration that we make possible with LaunchKit and WP Fusion. But the point is, the booking means somebody or a few group of people are picking a date out of random things. Whereas with the event, you've got definitive dates, definitive times. And again, back to the membership content, the certification. Many of my clients make a huge business by having hundreds of live or pre-recorded events on specific dates, even in specific cities. Using Foo Events, we've got this pre-configured inside of the LaunchKit solution, so any product can be enabled in seconds, minutes if you go slow, to automatically track which things people were interested in seeing, which things they actually registered for, which things they attended. If there was event participation, like fill out a survey. Did they fill it out? And what's the data? All of that data can be acquired very simply and easily with this off-the-shelf WordPress as a service and using tags as well as custom field data. For example, Spence, we know binaries, saw this, clicked this, bought this, purchased it. But field data would be things that he filled out personal to himself. He's from Chicago. His birthday is November 3rd. He likes chocolate. Yellow, obviously, is his favorite color. Those are things that could be filled out as part of a form, part of a registration, part of an event ticket as an attendee or a buyer. And in doing so, synchronized to the CRM. So now maybe when Spence comes back to the website, WP Fusion makes it possible to put yellow on the banner and a skyline of the city of Chicago with chocolate raining from the sky using Dolly or Midjourney or something to create the image. Boy, Spence is going to know you've got his number, right? Subconsciously or otherwise. That's how we can do that. But we can also use it for dynamic things like, did Spencer attend an event? What was the last date of the event he attended? That's not really as easily done with a tag. It's really easy to do with using the data that comes out of Foo Events and synchronizing it into the profile of any contact of a person buying or using this through your WooCommerce, WordPress, Foo Events setup. Okay. Number 7, pause for some liquid refreshment. This is a catch-all, content paywall. I like to use this when I talk about sales funnels because I write launch flows and human behavior psychology. Russell Brunson, famous, younger than I by many years, but carries on the tradition of the Ron Popeils and the Sugarmans and everybody else before, the Billy Mays, who understand there's 4 steps to selling, right? There's like a stranger to whom you make essentially a lead magnet offer in exchange for their email. Stranger, first offer is a lead magnet. Second thing is a tripwire. That's a sample of your stuff. That's number 3. You got to get them registered and logged in, get their credit card, because then you own them in a nice way, benevolent way, to offer them your main product. So the 4 steps: stranger, lead magnet to get their email, tripwire product, which is inexpensive, full product, and then anything that goes on from there. The content paywall is essentially, with a launch kit solution, WP Fusion in your CRM, a way to know, I'm at this point of, I just met you. You're a stranger. I showed something cool in public and said, hey, would you like to get to know me? Let's have some coffee. I give you a form or another free way to give you my email using this very same setup. And now I give you something of value in exchange for that. But because you're now in my CRM, I can offer you a sampler. Hey, I've got this amazing course, this amazing membership. I'm going to let you in for just $7. I'm going to take your tag. I'm going to do a product that knows you did the trial subscription for $7. And then in a certain time with my CRM, I'm going to make you the offer that I hope you'll take up of buying the full product. Every step of your journey, every piece of that puzzle is tracked in the CRM using WP Fusion and the connections. But because we can offer free stuff and protect it nevertheless, as soon as somebody gives the email, we're good to go. Now, I want to clarify something too. This is like a little technical, but I think it's worth mentioning. If you're using something like Google Analytics or one of the popular third-party CRMs, HubSpot, Salesforce, go high level, they give you a lot of hubbabaloo. They give you a lot of fluff. We can track everything on your WordPress site. Well, that's a load of horse puckies. They can track you on the site if you're registered and logged in. I'm so excited about that point. I actually broke my glasses. If you're registered and logged in. Otherwise, the way that they track you is through cookies. And the problem is, we live in a world where everybody, myself included, in front of me, I have 5 devices. So I have machine, desktop, laptop, I've got tablet, mobile phone, maybe I've got something in my car, whatever. If you use cookies, you can't track people any more than using Google Analytics lets you really track people. It's a lie. They have to be registered and logged in. So what I teach and what I provide in the Launch Kit solution using WP Fusion is It costs you nothing, especially when using Fluent CRM. It costs you nothing to have everybody registered and logged in right after they cross the threshold of giving you their email, as long as there's a chance, like Jim Carrey in his famous line in Dumb and Dumber. So there's a 1 in a million chance you'll go out with me? Well, I guess. So you're saying I got a chance. As soon as they cross the threshold that there's a chance that you might be able to get them to buy the tripwire, then you should add them in as a user, because the entire experience now is tracked. But they must be logged in. And even though Jack Arturo and I discussed this many times, he's left a feature into WP Fusion that would allow you to give access to stuff with cookies. Sorry, Jack. Don't use it. Don't use it ever, because as soon as you use that, you create for yourself this problem of confusion where somebody starts on device 1 and then they go home and they're on device 3 and they don't get in and they're wondering why. So they register again and then they buy, and now they got a real account and 2 fake accounts on 3 devices, and there's a whole mess that has to be cleaned up. By requiring somebody to cross the threshold, the cold leads, the people you've really never met before, can be kept directly in your CRM, whether it's an external CRM or Fluent CRM. And as soon as there's a chance, 1 in a million or not, you then register and log them in and track everything that way. And you can meet all of the European laws. I know there's many of our audience members who are asking about that, because all of the tools have the ability to oblige the GDPR and the cookie laws and the privacy laws and so forth. All right. Number 8. This is kind of part and parcel with the original slide and with the whole philosophy of this. So you can sync the users in your WordPress earth to their contact profile in the CRM. Now, remember, with Fluent CRM, it's kind of cool because the satellite is actually parked on Earth. It's inside the planet Earth, which I think is better. There's no need for the back and forth. There's no costs, no expanding costs to grow your list. With Fluent CRM, you can have 1 million users on your list and it costs you 0 extra pennies or dollars, versus look at the price of ActiveCampaign. Almost all the CRMs, with the exception of Brevo and maybe Go High Level, I'm not sure, all of them have this, what I think is just BS pricing model that discourages you from being successful. They charge you more per everybody you add your list. Go check out the pricing of HubSpot if you really want to have a Tiffany box-like experience of, wait a second, isn't that the same exact thing I can do for free on Fluent, and they're charging me like a little tiny bit for 2 users, and then boom, it goes up to, I'm going to have to sell a kidney or blood or something to afford this. Try it out. So what you're allowed to do or able to do now is to take the user's experience on Planet WordPress, synchronize it to your CRM internally or externally in real time. That means that when that person is taken on this journey, like Spence likes chocolate, he's from Chicago, yellow's his favorite color, he just clicked this or bought this or did this. As he browses from step to step in your sales funnel using launch flows or otherwise, everything can change dynamically. It's like the best part of having Facebook or Amazon or Google track you, except it's not as scary or weird, because you're not going to do stuff like, I know what you're doing, Spence. It's going to be like, I'm not going to offer you stuff you clearly said you didn't want. Or, hey, you've already accomplished this, so let's just carry on with the other stuff you need to do. And that really makes people happy, and they stay longer because you're not wasting their time. You're honoring the fact that you recognize them. Like if you had a real person in real life that you had known for years and you just walk right by them. Who's going to do that? That person's going to be insulted or think something's wrong with you. It's like, hey, hi, Carrie. Hi, Fred. Hi, Susie. Hi, whatever. You have to acknowledge the customers in a personal way. And you can do that because now you've got all the data inside of the CRM as well as in WordPress. And the CRM is going to handle automations, if this, then that, or a goal has been achieved or an email is sent. But in WordPress, it's going to be changing the look and the feel or the access to various things. Like you're in that hotel, Mr. Foreman, you're a guest in the presidential suite. Welcome to the buffet. It's all on us. Let me get you a bottle of Dom Perignon and so on and so forth. Maybe for me, it'd be bourbon. That's the experience you want people to have. And you can do it easily, as I'll show you in a second with a little sneak peek of that. Number 8 is abandoned cart recovery. Now, this is interesting because, again, assuming you're using WooCommerce, as you should, and as we provide, there will be people who, like me, on my third trip around 28 and a half, realize that I've spent almost my entire adult life, maybe that's my goal, maybe that's my spiritual journey, taking care of other people. I like solving problems for other people, whether they're my friends or my clients or my customers or my kids or my family members. I like solving problems. It seems like that is like R2D2, my lot in life. Maybe that's C3PO. And in doing so, there will be things that distract me in midstream. So there have been oftentimes cases where I'm paying my bills or I'm on Amazon, I'm shopping, and I got stuff in the cart and I forgot about it. It happens. If somebody gently reminded me, Spence, you were shopping yesterday and you left all this great stuff in your Amazon cart, which, by the way, they do. I'm actually very appreciative in most cases because it just takes a second now to finish what I was doing rather than having to start all over again. Like, what was I shopping for? What did I need? Where is that stuff? So, because we can track WooCommerce and what is in the cart using WP Fusion to give somebody a tag based upon a series of if this, then that scenarios, we can send them an email that says, hey, Spence, remember you were about to check out. And we can recover lost sales. This has been demonstrably one of the best features you can use in e-commerce if you do have a lot of SKU numbers, right? So if you have more than 1 or 2 items you're selling, you're just doing yourself no favor not to have this in there. And it's easy, but more importantly, it integrates deeply with your CRM. So your CRM now has the evidence as well as just your local WordPress. And that's a much different thing because imagine you have all these other automations and brandings and they're set up in your CRM, whether it's Fluent or an outside one. Your abandoned cart can look like it's a unified message from your brand rather than some rando plugin that you got off the flea market in WordPress. Big difference. This one I actually use. This one is a little more complicated, but really big benefits. So we were talking a minute ago about what are the benefits for the cost of a CRM. In a normal CRM that's an outside SaaS CRM, you've got benefits and costs. One of the benefits is that you could literally take, let's say, ActiveCampaign, and you could connect it to any number of sites. And you could synchronize customers from various sites to either one list or multiple lists in one account in, let's say, ActiveCampaign. Now, it still costs you an arm and a leg, and it's still got to communicate back and forth, and it's still got all the other hassles, expenses, but you could do it. Thankfully, in my favorite CRM, the one I recommend to most people, and we include in the Launch Kit solution, Fluent CRM. Fluent CRM allows you the same capability. And I actually use it myself. You may have noticed I have one site that's sole purpose is to run my Fluent CRM and act as my all-in-one headless sort of brain of my businesses. And it goes across the various website domains I have because most all of my customers do have some relationship with all my brands, but it doesn't mean that it has to be that way. It allows me to selectively take people and segment them from any business, put them into one CRM, whether they're on the same list or not. For me, they are, and then market and create content and track their journey from one place, which, by the way, works just as well on my mobile phone as it works on desktop. And because it's very inexpensive, I set many of my customers up with this to have a dedicated site just for that purpose. $10 a month, if you do it through me with everything, including support, $60 a month. That's it. To have a incredibly powerful, unlimited users CRM across all of your web domains. Or here's a cool one. Maybe you're doing a business where you have like a franchisor franchisee. So all your franchisees connect through your CRM. You collect their emails. You do the marketing. That's your value added. Instead of paying a CRM, literally a king's ransom for that, we can set you up like in no time. And it costs you, under $100 a month, let's say, for the whole kit and caboodle. Amazing. I use it myself. It's one of the best features that makes it really important to compare what are you getting, what's the hassle? Because again, These sites you own and control. You back them up. They're on either with my help or otherwise your own servers. And the idea is nobody can change pricing on you. Nobody can cut you off. And if there was some reason you want to say bye-bye to the relationship with the host or me or anyone else, you just say bye-bye, because it's all owned and controlled in the box. Why would anybody, given the choice, put all of their business knowledge inside of a third-party SaaS solution where they can get cut off, or like ActiveCampaign last year, have the prices doubled on them for no good reason? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. It's like buying a car and the carburetor or the fuel injection is in a third-party location owned by another company, which, by the way, is actually some of the things car makers are trying to do now, where like your air conditioning system has some remote control that you have to pay a subscription for. And it's getting huge backlash because everybody's like, you got to be kidding me. But that's what you're essentially doing when you choose an external CRM. But for many people, they have powerful business reasons why to do that. Maybe like a Salesforce or something. So really good feature. And number 10, and then I'm going to do a little show and tell, and we're deep into this, but I want to just, kind of give you some examples of this live. Conditional sales funnels. So my expertise, among other things, is in how to do sales marketing, sales funnels. I write the Launch Flows plugin, which I wrote after Jack and I were already engaged in a relationship, because I wanted something unlike some of the other framework sales funnels that was lightweight and specifically improved the behavior of WooCommerce without getting in its way. So if you do sales funnels, which means instead of having people shop the aisles of Home Depot randomly hoping to find the thing you're offering, you offer them exactly what they want at the exact moment they need it, and you give them conditional options based upon things they've already gotten. This can be extended at any point of the relationship. Remember, I talked about the 4 steps. Stranger, well, they're all getting the same thing, like an offer of, this is something cool that I do as a billboard. Here's the pain, here's how I solve it. Click here to give me your email. In exchange for which you get the lead magnet. But after the lead magnet, everything else is a conditional based upon, have you seen this? Have you done this? Have you bought this? Have you achieved this? And yes or no answers give the ability with tags to offer different things at each of those 4 stages. Even to the extent, which I love, of in the checkout itself, you can have order bumps that are conditional based upon previous products you may have said yes to versus others. So if you have a lot of SKU numbers, or if it's a geographic product, or if it's a date related event, you can just have this whole thing be really automated and synchronized between your WordPress site and your CRM. So you can do it both from the standpoint of like emails and your local WordPress site all at the same time. And then that data is available to you in amazing ways. So before I go into show and tell, the point of all of this, and then I'm going to do the show and tell, is you eliminate your frustration by using WP Fusion, your favorite CRM, hint, Fluent CRM, with the Launch Kit solution. Why? Because I'm in the relationship business. I am basically interested in keeping it simple for you, because instead of you going out to the flea market of WordPress and browsing the tables on Sundays, looking through 70,000 parts and finding a host and setting it up and making sure the caching is right and the SMTP and all of the other security features, and then configuring each plugin and the subscriptions with each plugin and who does what, where, and why, and supporting what happens. All of it is like, what if WordPress was just a service, as it should be? And the best stuff was available in a set, in a kit, just like Lego blocks, just like IKEA. So you stop tinkering and you start creating. And all of it costs less than the time or the money to go out and tinker. Again, when you want to have a fun weekend, at least I did when my kids were younger, and I still do occasionally, I need something around the house, like another piece of furniture. If I go to IKEA, I'm guaranteed a fun day where we're going to have some meatballs and some cinnamon rolls, and we're going to browse the floors looking at imaginative layouts of things. Any of those things I buy have been curated and guaranteed to work with everything else I've bought over the last 18 years of being a parent, 23 years of being a parent, because it's at IKEA. Think of the same thing in WordPress with Uncle Spence delivering it to you in the Launch Kit solution. and the knowledge is built in. So $97 a month starts with a free call. You get all the software, you get all the hosting, you get unlimited email support, you get everything you need, plus a free call of somebody who will listen to you to figure out what exactly you need from the IKEA store, the Lego store. And when you get it, you can take it all to go, because what you're buying is a relationship with me. You are not buying the software. The software of everything I just mentioned is free in WordPress. That's the point. I know it's hard for people to realize that, but it's open source. All of us who write it and make it know that you can take it and do whatever you want with it. We're selling the relationship with us. And I'm offering a curated relationship because I have these other intimate relationships in a business way with all of the people who make WordPress stuff. And we all agree it's better for all of us to have somebody with a unified way to explain this, because we've reached the point where WordPress runs half of the internet, and yet it's incredibly painful and confusing to really smart people how to get in. So I want to say high five, thank you. But I'm going to go back a step because I have a couple minutes. I want to do a little show and tell. And in doing so, I'm going to present here, this window. Which one? I'm going to do, I think I can do this. Hold on. I'm going to be clever. I'm going to present it as a window so it's separate. There it is. Okay, and let me scale this a little bit. I want to give you a little under the hood stuff about the things we talked about. Black Jay says, like I say, it's not B2B, not B2C. It's person to person. That's Chris. Absolutely. I mean, the thing that I have demonstrated again and again as a marketer and a salesperson, as a person who's been on the planet for a while, is the more that technology makes things faster, easier, better, cheaper, the harder it is for people. Because you got to remember, it's the old joke, like those kids and their remote controls. This is a remote control that's really easy, but anybody who grew up in the days of cable where there's 500 buttons realizes it's like, oh my God. Well, imagine you're a 40-plus-year-old business person with all the things that I complain about, and you've got to have your online presence because all your competitors do. Or you want to do something new and exciting, and you need an expert. Do you want the expert that's nameless, faceless, behind a paywall, looks like a robot? No. You want Carrie or Chris or Spence or Stuart or whomever it is who can be in that relationship. And I am offering you on my end, like the wholesale version of what you can offer. By the way, when you go to wplaunchify.com and you scroll down to the pricing area, you can see my relationships are so silly. It's simple. It's silly. Everybody gets the startup. Your relationship with me is $97 because all of the software, all of the hosting, all of the unlimited email with me is included, plus these other things that you get through office hours and so forth. The reason is because that way I have the Legos or the IKEA furniture for you and everybody to be on the same page. And like last night, I can spend all my time improving that WordPress as a platform, but it doesn't take away from the fact that everything under the hood is standard. It is the original real software. I do not break or change any of that software. What I will do, though, occasionally under the hood is curate out some things or hide things or simplify some things, but in a way that if you turned off my Launch Kit plugin, you're good to go. And that also includes the ability to update all the software. So, for example, if you were to go into Launch Kit, you don't need to use the standard method of 100 subscriptions and downloading everything every month and so forth. You just find the things that you need that are included, and you could just install them, just update it. Or if you want, you can just check to see what you've already installed or updated. And in doing so, I'm simply delivering the convenience to make my support for you focused on the things that are important. Let's talk about WP Fusion. If I go into settings WP Fusion, I'll just show you a few things. There's some magic tricks under the hood. Remember, we talked about the idea that you want to connect to your favorite CRM. WP Fusion makes that super simple because when you set it up, you choose which CRM. Here I'm doing Fluent CRM, this site. I could have done Fluent CRM API and connected to multiple other connections. Either way, in the general settings, I want to have at least one list. Here, I'm using the main list. My rule of thumb is one list per business. I actually have 7 or 8 websites connected to one list because everybody has some similar reason to be interested in my business there. Now, if I was running a vet clinic and a human clinic, those might be two different people, two different lists. That would be where you could choose a list per site. Next, we don't need to never, can I say that? Return passwords. So many times I get people who are connecting to Salesforce, HubSpot, and they think because somebody in their C-suite doesn't know better, that they need to send the WordPress passwords back and forth. Please do not ever do that, ever, never. Yes, Jack has very graciously included this feature. Never include that. It's a bad idea, it's dumb, and it causes all kinds of confusion because the WordPress site is a standalone planet. And the satellite of the CRM, while it may be true, is monitoring the journey, is not the tool to be used for changing their passwords. The only exceptions to this would be instances where somebody's using an OpenAuth connector or some other thing like a tool they call a Simple Orange that does like a security universal login to multiple sites. But for normal websites, just disable that option. Now, the main things you do here are once you're connected and refreshed, all the tags become available. But I also want to show you that field mapping. So remember I mentioned like if I want to keep track of the last time that somebody attended a Foo event, there does happen to be for the Foo events plugin an integration that would allow me to, for example, track the event name, booking time, venue, start time, check-in. These are not comprehensive and they are not relational. So it will not track a separate entry for every single event somebody went to. That is what you would use the tags for. But it will give you enough information that's universal to make it really easy to market by knowing, the last time somebody checked in was this, or the name of the event was this. And that's enough, even the event start and date, because this is the last thing somebody did. For the actual list of other stuff they had maybe encountered or done, that's when I use a tag. How do I do those tags? Well, typically in the LaunchKit solution, we've made it easier by putting everything you need into the WooCommerce products. So if I go to products, and these are ready to use, we've made it that out of the box, this WordPress as a service with the LaunchKit platform is already set up with products and checkout and thank you and CRM. So you can just start using it immediately and just adding to or modifying what's there. So for example, if somebody wanted to do a paid coaching call, remember that's a booking, not an event. We could make it an event. Either way, we can give tags when people do this or buy this or whatever. So for example, even though this is a booking, I could turn it into an event by choosing event and just making it an event here. Now that unlocks all of the other things like offering tickets and setting up the dates and so on and so forth. Regardless of whether I did that, I can also use WP Fusion to apply tags when somebody purchases this. And if they have attendees, I can also add tags to the attendees because there's a difference between somebody who buys the event and somebody who's just going to the event. And here, that's where I could choose from all of the tags that are available in my synchronized CRM. Now, I can customize the product to make a custom sales page that offers not only the information about what to buy, but once somebody has bought it and I have their tag, I can conditionally show different things on this page. Super cool, right? It starts as a sales page, but it ends up being the information page all with one URL. Hello, how much easier is that? So based upon somebody actually doing things, we use one of those 4 methods. The first method is on the actual visibility or whatever of the product page itself. You'll notice that WP Fusion has this option box here. Users must be logged in to view this, and they either require tags to see it. This is the whole content, or they will get tags if they view that. That's how I keep track of somebody actually saw my offer page. If they come to this page, I give them a tag if it's relevant. Saw the offer. Okay, now I know what else to trigger to send to them. What if I want to be more granular? Well, here inside of the Gutenberg page builder with Cadence, what I will typically do is I'll use either the WP Fusion or in some cases, I'll use the Fluent CRM wrapper. So if I just do /WP Fusion, Now I get a container that allows me to have conditional display of stuff based upon does somebody have a tag or not. And it's really simple. The first thing I do is I go to the block and I say, what tag is required for restricting content? So maybe it's purchase coaching call. In the top area is I put the stuff they will see if they do have the tag. This you see because you do have the tag. And in the next area is what they would see if they didn't. You see this if you don't. Now, this is amazing because you can make multiple little WP Fusion wrappers with all kinds of different tags based upon stuff that people have seen or clicked or done or bought. The only contingency is that somebody is registered and logged in. That's the reason that I told you early on, it costs you nothing. If you have a 1 in a million chance of selling, get them registered, get them logged in as quickly as possible. We do that as well. So, in addition to, before I leave this page, in addition to like conditionally showing them stuff, when they actually register and log in, we can give them various tags to identify where the hell did they come from. And we can even store the UTM variables like you might do if it came from a Facebook ad, and you store them inside of the custom fields. This person came from my Facebook ad of Black Friday 2023. Aha. That way you can do conversion checks or return on investment checks about how many people who actually became registered users, how many people became paid customers from a various campaign. And it's real people. It's not just anonymous user 1234. Before I leave this page, I also want to show you visibility conditions. So I have two plugins installed that are part of the LaunchKit solution. Block visibility, and there's also Nick Diego's plugin, which is called, I can't remember now, visibility control. It doesn't matter. Here's the two situations. They do very similar things, and I may remove the block visibility shortly because Nick's plugin now for free does all of this. You can adjust conditions based upon tags on a block by block basis using the very same metaphor that we talked about WP Fusion. So let me give you an example. Let's say I add after, and let's just say this is a big image. Okay, and I'll just select an image here. And I'm going to be very brief with this. I'm not going to make a big example of this, but let me just put this in. Okay. If I only want this to display based upon certain visibility conditions, that's where I'm going to use that visibility control, right? So if I wanted to, for example, say, only show this if somebody has or doesn't have a tag, I highlight the block, I click on visibility, WP Fusion, and now I can choose what are the required tags to have or not have and so forth. And very similar to the wrapper, but on a block level basis, I get that granular control. Final thing I'm going to show you, because we're at the end of the hour, is the registration and login stuff. So when somebody registers or when somebody uses a form to get in for free, we likewise with the LaunchKit solution make it possible to very simply and easily add them into your database, and that's it. So you have everybody you need always tracked, and you know where they came from and so forth. So if I go to Fluent CRM and I go to my contacts, let's see if I have anybody left over here from previous demos. I don't have somebody, but let's add somebody. For example, I'm going to log out. If somebody, for example, came to your website and let's go to this website and did a free registration for scheduling a call. This using Fluent Forms, WP Fusion, Fluent CRM. Bobby Smith, bob@smith.com. I'd like to talk about stuff. Now, this is the person who's at the cold lead area. Remember I talked about it. I don't know yet until I have the call whether they're warm. So I'm only going to add them to the CRM. But, and this takes them onto the calendar. But had I wanted to, I could also do something that's a free or a paid product. So I could have offered a similar form that would also register and log them in, right? So it might be the paid coaching call or simple subscription. Either way, let me see if I can log back in as me. Once I log back in, or if I'm the admin, I knew that would happen. Let me get the actual login. Once I log up, I'm going to go get it. I did this last webinar. I should have learned my lesson, right? I'm going to get the actual log me in link. When I get back in there as the admin on my demo site, I will be able to see that that person was added into the CRM. And then we're going to wrap this up. So let's grab my log me in. I talked about this last time. I probably should have set it up better. I am able to set a date and a time for somebody to have an immediate login as an admin, which is great when you've done what I'm doing, like maybe you're temporarily on another computer, or if, for example, you want to share something with a team member. So I'm instantly logged in. Here, if I go to my Fluent CRM and I look at my contacts, we will see that new person who registered is in the CRM, and we have the information about what they're interested in, right? So Bob Smith, I've now got all that I need about what he was submitting and why. I can also see when and where he submitted the form and what he did. And I can see that he's on my main list, scheduled coaching call. Now, all of this is important because that's what I'm going to use to trigger follow-up automations. These automations in Fluent CRM are really easy, very powerful, and you can actually sell them to people because when you make them here, other launch kit users use the same system. But I've had clients who use a third-party SaaS CRM doing the same thing. Go high level, calls these things snapshots. Active Campaign allows you to do the same. My point is, if you've got the tool in here, it's in the box, it's included in the $97, and you have all this own it, control it, even to the extent of being able to use the tool that I give you here, Prime Mover. You could just take a snapshot of anything you want, save it, share it, sell it, move it. So I have no desire to keep you in a relationship with me unless you want to be in the relationship, which is the best relationship. And in giving you this control, you can have any person in the entire ecosystem do anything you want with the setup because there's nothing that is spaghetti coded into Spencer. Stuart asks, I'm confused with Fluent CRM. A contact, let's put him in here. A contact can be assigned to multiple lists, but can only have one status of subscribed or unsubscribed. Does this relate? That's a great question. So let me talk about a concept that I found confuses people, much like Stuart is asking. I don't want to say you're confused. Inside of various CRMs are options that are not necessarily things you have to worry about. But one of the concepts that's important to me is the concept of lists versus tags for segmenting. And here's why. I'm going to hide you so I can show more of the screen. Think of it like a big event like WordCamp, Maryland. You've got all these people, 2,000 plus people coming to Maryland in a hotel that I think there was 10,000 people there. All right. Now, there was 20 different rooms that you could go to watch or listen to a speaker. And then there was like the display area. Then there was the restaurants. All over this entire town and place were these places to meet people. It was madness on trying to figure out where somebody was at any one time. But when everybody came together in the evening event at the museum, we were all in one place. We were all on one list. And the only difference was the stuff that was on our name tags, right? The tags. Spence from Chicago, he's WP Launchify. He likes yellow. He eats chocolate. Okay. So when you're doing a business, forget about lead versus customer in the CRM, because yes, there is a feature here about that. It's completely irrelevant to anything. I've never touched it in 18 years. This is not necessary because we have other tools available, but I like that Shah Jahan and his team put it in there because you could use it as a way to segment people, but it's redundant. Why? Because if everyone is on one list, I simply use tags or field values. I don't need this option here to segment people. And that's for my automations, my emails, my follow-ups. More importantly, this option here of customer or lead is not available to me inside of all of the other plugins with WP Fusion. It's available as a value in my fields, but it's not available if, for example, going back to products, if I wanted to say, know if somebody bought or clicked or viewed a product, I can't do that with the lead or contact dropdown, but I can definitely do that based upon the tags they've got. So if I go back over here, and this is really just a way of saying it's nice to have 5 or 6 controls on the control panel, but you don't have to use them all. If I go back here to my product, the coaching call product, what I can do is say, like I just told you or showed you, apply a tag when it's purchased. Okay. I can say over here or in the thing, which tags do I need in order to show or not show something? You'll notice there's no option here for lead or contact. So it's sort of like, to my mind's eye, why get myself involved in using one of the tools that isn't universal? I just rather use the ones that are. And even in the automations, I want to show you, when you create an automation with Fluent in particular, likewise with other ones, new automation. Look at all the ways I can trigger this. I can do it on affiliate WP. I can do it on applied to a list, like main list, tag applied, like purchase product. I can do it on things involved in the course, enrolled in a course, finished a lesson. WooCommerce, bought a product, started to buy a product, failed to pay for a product, or even WordPress stuff like signups. So by using tags and the triggers that can be triggered by them or the integrations directly, I don't think you need to use the contact or lead dropdown if you don't want to. Anne is here. Thank you. Anne says very kind words. She has been amazing. She's doing I don't want to speak for her, but Anne has been in the nutrition business doing some really interesting use cases of the human psychology with directory content, with aggregating and editorial. That is part of the personal relationship thing that you can sell. So without sharing too much about her business in particular, I will tell you in general, companies and individuals will pay you as an intermediary to deliver a system that allows them to manage a lot of stuff because you give them the tools and you do it for them. I've shown everybody in the past how I have my son is in a fraternity and I have this parents club solution based on the Launch Kit solution as well. And this is a perfect example. They need to collect the dues, $30 from each family. They have about 250 or so parents. So it's 30 times 250. I mean, it's like 12 grand of money sitting on a table, in addition to making it easy to let people know about the Father's Day weekend, to register and pay for it. And all of this is done with the Launch Kit solution, WP Fusion, Fluent CRM, WooCommerce, out of the box, same price for everybody, ready to go. And yet I've had several of the parents in this contact me because I did put my WP Launchify at the bottom. I need this for my daughter's sorority. I need this for my couples club, my bridge club. I need it for my pro group. These are the kind of things you could do. And I'm going to show you another one too. Like, this is one of my other clients who's been around with me for many years, but this is the faceted search capability built into the Launch Kit solution, WP Fusion, dynamic stuff. You can filter the baseball players who are trying to become players overseas now. And every time you use this search dropdown, it's just using the out-of-the-box stuff we give you to use along with the automation. So we know what's been seen, what's been viewed, what's been clicked, what's been filtered. I use that for WP Launch Kit in a different way for doing the documentation. And again, same idea. Not necessarily is this all with WP Fusion and tags, but what I'm saying is these bits and bobs of tracking what somebody has seen or clicked or viewed will help you, especially with today's AI, to build a user experience that's incredible. In other words, what we've got is less parts in the Lego store that have been figured out. And by the way, this is showing you what you get when you sign up. You get all the documentation from me plus the personal email. And I know the folks that are very kindly saying today, by the way, thank you, Stuart. And thank you, Dr. Krieger. And thank you, Anne. Everybody who's showing up here have been participatory in what I'm selling, which is, wouldn't it be super cool if Uncle Spence could take his 18 years of WordPress expertise, all my relationships, all the technology, put it in a box ready to use for $97. And then if you want personal relationships with me to do stuff for you or give you personal advice or get you out of a jam, it's easy because it all starts with a free call and then you talk to me. And I do have things that I could sell you, hourly, project, retainer, but under the hood is the same Legos and everything else. All right, I have gone beyond my normal time, but I think today was really, really amazing. I'm very excited. The Launch Kit solution is at wplaunchkit.com or go to wplaunchify.com. Click the button to start with me for a free call. You can come in through WP Fusion. There's a tab there, free consultation. If you're using a CRM, if you got some of the pieces of the stack, let's talk. I guarantee you 100%. I will sort you out for free, and you can choose to either carry on your own, do some kind of like little consultative thing, or maybe just have me hold your hand and get this thing done finally, so you can get on to making more money with whatever it is that you really came to WordPress for in the first place. This is Spence. I'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.